you for joining us. Right, well, that in YouTube sorted. What's happening, people? Facebook, always fucking the last one. Facebook, always slow. We'll give it a couple of minutes before we get into it. Just going to let a few of you lovely people join. If you're watching this on the replay, please give me a hashtag replay so I know. I feel like I'm looking at fucking three screens here, mate. So I know how many people watch it on the replay. Also, thanks for jumping on. Leave me an emoji in the comments just to let me know that you can hear me and you can see me okay. And then we will get into today's live and today's podcast. I hope you're all having a great day and a fucking great week. It's only Tuesday, isn't it? So week's just pretty much started, really, hasn't it? We got forward on Instagram. We have got Facebook's being pretty slow, so doesn't look like there's anyone jumped on that yet. But we had one on YouTube. What's happening? Smash that like button on YouTube if you're watching this as well. Remember to subscribe to my channel. Also, you guys on Facebook, you guys on Instagram, head over to YouTube. Type in Type 1 Tom, go and subscribe to my channel. I've just finished recording my full day of eating, which I'm going to edit and I'm going to put it on my YouTube soon. So if you want to see what I eat in a day and a few tips and tricks on how I personally manage my blood glucose, head over there. I'm going to speak about that when we get into the podcast as well. Right. Without further ado, shall we go? We'll hit record first. 3, 2, 1. Yes, gang, welcome back to another episode of Type 1 Movement Podcast. Thank you for being here and tuning in. I've got a banger of an episode for you today, and it's going to be no 2 days are the same and when to make adjustments. So if you're like, you know what, fucking hell, no 2 days are the same, I just can't figure stuff out, this is going to be the episode for you. Before we get started, team, please leave me a rating and a review on the podcast app, as it really does help me reach more Type 1 diabetics and positively impact our community, because that's a goal at the end of the day with this. I'm here for you guys. You guys are helping me out. I'm helping you out. We're all a team. We're a community at the end of the day. Whatever device you're listening to it on, screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories and tag me at Type1_Tom. So I'm going to open with this, team. If you've not got me on Instagram, go and follow me. Yeah, you guys on Instagram obviously have, like Type1_Tom, because today I've given a lot of people a laugh on my Instagram stories. Basically, DFS are messing around with my sofa. So I'm currently sitting on a click-clack sofa bed, which is bolt upright or flat down. There's no in between with it. Well, there is, but it's shit. Yeah, basically. And you can sit on it for 20 minutes and then your back gets sore. So you have to stand up, wander around. So I decided to order myself a beanbag. Now, this beanbag's called Big Bertha Beanbag. Absolute business, mate, honestly, and a footstool. But the only problem is on the filling instructions, I thought it'd come filled. It doesn't. So you have to fill it yourself. But me living here on my own, I've got no one to, it says you've got to do it with a friend or family member. It makes it easier to hold the beanbag open. So I've just done it by myself after I hoovered my front room carpet. And yeah, you need to go over to my Instagram stories and check it out, because honestly, the pellets are everywhere and everyone's just been having an absolute laugh about it. So that's been my eventful morning, sort of afternoon. Apologies if you are listening to this in the future. Obviously, my Instagram story for that isn't going to be there anymore, but go and get me on Instagram anyway. So yeah, I was just saying to the guys on the live then, team, I've just finished recording a full day of eating. So what I eat in a day, and I'm going to stick it on my YouTube channel. So if you've not got me on YouTube, go over to YouTube, type in Type 1 Tom, go and subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to upload it to there very soon. And it's basically like what I eat in a day with some tips and tricks on how I personally manage my blood glucose level. So there's going to be a lot of valuable information in this episode. Well, in this YouTube video, if you like, sort of a vloggy style thing. But you're going to have to go over to YouTube, because that's the only place I'm going to watch it. So go in YouTube, type in Type 1 Tom, go and subscribe to my channel, because that's where you're going to get it. Right, without further ado, team, let's get into this. Name of the episode, no 2 days are the same, when to make adjustments to your diabetes management routine, that is. Right, so do you ever give me a little nod? Yeah, give me a little sort of silent nod if you're listening to this, or if you're watching this, you can give me like a fire emoji in the comments so I can see it. Do you ever think, feel, or kind of do this? Do you ever do the same thing 2 days in a row and get different blood glucose results? Yeah, do you ever do the same thing? Everything seems the same 2 days in a row, but your levels are just fucking completely different. Yeah. Do you ever make adjustments after just one sort of event, one high, one low, one thing happening, and then you're fucking adjusting everything? You're like, fucking hell, what's going on? I don't get it. Do you ever feel like you're chasing your levels every single day? Yeah, you can't chill. You're chasing them. You're like, oh, when's it going to go high? When's it going to go low? I don't know what's going on. And do you ever feel confused as to why certain things happen in terms of your diabetes management and your blood glucose levels? If you're giving me a silent nod or you've stuck me a fire emoji in the comments, in this episode, I'm going to try and help you understand why these certain things happen, to your blood glucose, and help you understand why you're thinking 2 days are never the same, and how and when to make adjustments, to stop you feeling overwhelmed and frustrated. Right. So I want to start with this. There is so many factors, team, so many factors that can impact our blood glucose levels. So the fact that you're like, no 2 days are the same, I don't get what's going on. No 2 days aren't the same, but that's no reason for you to be like, I can't be asked trying to control my blood glucose levels. This is out of my control, yada, yada, and all that bullshit. Because what we need to do, and what me and my clients always do, is we kind of strip things back. So I'm going to tell you some of the things that can be impacting your blood glucose levels. So next time you're like, well, I did this yesterday and I did the same today and I've got a different result. Here's a few things. There's quite a lot, but there's 100 not, I think, in total. But here's some of the main things that will impact your blood glucose levels as a type 1 diabetic. The first, probably the most common thing, is stress. If you are stressed, it's going to impact your blood glucose levels. It's going to do that by causing stress on your body. And what then happens physiologically inside your body when you're stressed is your liver will push out glucose, meaning that the chances are your blood glucose is going to go high. I have worked with some type 1s who, when they're stressed, they get a lot of lows. But generally, more often than not, when you are stressed, your liver will do a glucose dump and your blood glucose levels will start to shoot up. Now, I've put a few stresses like one of the main things, but under sort of subtopics, if you like, from that is worry, anxiety, and frustration. If you're worried, if you're anxious, if you're feeling frustrated, these things will have the same impact on your blood glucose levels as stress will. So that's one of the things to be aware of. The next thing, the big one, is sleep. Team, if you are sleep deprived, your insulin sensitivity is going to be reduced massively. So is your motivation to do life, go about your daily tasks, eat well, be active. Like, sleep deprivation and being short on sleep is such a fucking big thing for us as type 1s. Do not get yourself into a hole with sleep, because that will be impacting your levels. Let's say you eat the same meal, the same time, the same activity levels, same hydrate, everything's the same, one day, and then you had an absolutely horrendous night's sleep, and then you repeat everything the same from the previous day on the next day, and you're like, oh, no 2 days are the same. No, mate, you've just hardly fucking slept. You're tired. And that's what's impacting your glucose levels. So you can see how sleep will have an impact, The next thing is hydration. Dead basic. Come on, team. We're all fucking adults. Well, I know some kids might listen to this. Sorry about the swearing. But anyway, more to the point. We're all adults. We know we must stay hydrated. We must drink water. I am sipping a glass of water right now whilst recording this. Give me a minute. We're adults. Drink water. Stay hydrated. When you're hydrated, it's going to help everything move around your body, including insulin. If you're dehydrated, you're like dried up and stuff. Your body isn't going to be functioning like it should do. So hydration is going to impact your glucose levels. This is one for you girls. Super frustrating this, and I actually got Tal, big shout out to Tal, to come into my group for my females and do a training on this. And that's hormones, time of the month. That can be impacting your blood glucose levels. So let's say you have a really solid week of blood glucose levels. Your timing target's great. Your average is great. And then the next week it's time of the month and you're like, okay, now like this is completely different than last week. Well, that's why. It's your hormones. That's what's impacting it. Next thing is activity levels. This is the big one. Activity levels. If you're sat on your arse all day one day, or let's say, you sat on your arse all day one day, and then you're like, damn, man, my levels are a bit hard to control. And the next day you're super active, you're having a lot of lows, and you're like, oh my God, no 2 days were ever the same. Well, they kind of fucking are. It's just you were so sedentary and sat on your fucking arse one day, and then you decided to be more active, and that's why your blood glucose levels have changed. So activity levels are a big thing. Another thing is food choices. Again, we are adults, just like I said about hydration. Eat well, don't eat like a dick. That's all I really want to say on that. if I said to you, excuse me, if I said to you, tell me, I want to eat healthy. Tell me how I'm going to eat well. How I'm going to eat healthy. What should the base of my diet be? You're going to say, well, include some fruit and some vegetables and stuff like that. Yeah, make sure you get enough protein in. You add it. Stay away from loads of higher fat processed food. You're going to say that to me. Well, at least I think as an adult, you should fucking know that. So when I say your food choices, if you have poor food choices, you're living off takeouts, you're living off high fat sort of fried foods all the time, very low in protein or low, not a lot of vegetables, that's going to be having an impact on your glucose levels. Let's say, and I'm going to tie it into no 2 days are the same now. Let's say, excuse me, let's say that one day you eat great. Yeah, you eat how you should be eating as an adult. You're eating great. You're eating well. Yeah. You're active. You got enough sleep. You're staying hydrated. Stress levels are low. It's not time of the month for you girls. And then the next day, you decide, not that there's anything wrong with this, you decide to go and have a burger and chips for your lunch, yeah? Nothing wrong with that. I actually encourage my clients to have some meals like that whilst on my program so they can learn what it does and how to bolus for it. But let's say you do that, and then your levels, your blood glucose levels are a little bit harder to control after it. And you're like, man, no 2 days are the same. No, it was just different food choices. Come on, you've got to use your head on some of this. And the reason I'm doing this is I don't want any of you guys listening to this using that excuse. No 2 days are the same, so I can't control my blood glucose levels. I'm giving you examples and factors of what impact it is. So food choices. The next one, something that is out of our control, and that's the weather. Yeah. I've worked with a lot of type 1s that when it's hot, they might be more insulin sensitive, or some could be flipped. They could be insulin resistant. When it's really cold, yeah, could be more insulin sensitive, could be insulin resistant. That can impact your blood glucose levels. The heat, the cold, the weather. That's out of your control. The next thing is what we spoke about this a little bit back then. I keep using this as an example, team, right? But what you did the day before, can impact on the following day. If you were super active, if you trained at the gym, if you went on a run, a bike ride, you ate like a dickhead, you didn't get much sleep, you dehydrated you didn't drink much water the day before, that can have a rollover effect. Our bodies don't just stop after 24 hours. Things roll over and it will continue to impact for possibly a few days later. So what you did the day before can impact your blood glucose levels. And then another one, this is the last one because there's so many things I could fucking say, but this is the last one. Weight loss and weight gain. If you lose weight, lose body fat, yeah, chances are it's going to impact your blood glucose levels and your insulin sensitivity. If you find you gain weight, even gaining lean muscle, but gaining fat as well, chances are it's going to impact your insulin sensitivity and it's going to impact your blood glucose levels. Yeah. So, excuse me, there's just a few things that can impact your blood glucose levels on a daily basis. So next time you run into something and you're like, oh God, yesterday I did everything the same and my levels were great. And then today, fucking hell, I just can't get a handle on them. Strip it back, team. Strip it back and ask yourself, like I said, am I stressed? What was my sleep like? Have I drunk enough water? Is it time of the month if it's you girls? What was my activity level like yesterday and today? What's my food choices been like? What is the weather the same? Has it changed? What did I do the day before? And that's more of a long-term, like weight loss, weight gain. That's more of a long-term one. It's not something you can really do in the moment. Yeah. So a few things when we're dialing it back, and this is something I do with clients, strip it back layer by layer, like fucking peeling an onion, right? Layer by layer, and ask yourself these questions. Because chances are, if you feel like no 2 days are the same, chances are it's one of these things that's changed. It's there will always be a reason. I will say this, and I say this to my clients, always. There'll always be a reason. Your job is to try your best to find it. But sometimes you won't find it, and that's just the way it goes. But most of the time, if you're looking hard enough and you know where to look, there'll be a reason that's impacting your blood glucose levels. There'll be a reason. So, team, I want to move on now as to when to make adjustments, because some of you people might see this and you're like, you know what? I did this yesterday, and then today I've done this, and I've got completely different numbers. Fuck it, I'm making adjustments. I'm going to change everything. Let's fucking go ham. Hard as a motherfucker, I'm changing everything. No, hold up a minute. Hold up a minute, sunshine. Right. Firstly, I want to look at sort of what we look to make adjustments to as type 1s, what we look to make adjustments to. The main thing is probably going to be your basal rate, pens or pump. Yeah, I'm pretty much adjusting mine ongoing, and so my clients every few weeks or whenever I feel like My control might run a little high or a little low. The basal rate is the first point of call that I go to, and it's where I get clients to go to. So basal rate. Insulin to carb ratio could be something that you're looking to adjust. Let's say you know your basal rate's right, but around your meals you're having a bit of trouble. Might be time to, retest that insulin to carb ratio and adjust that. Pre-bolus timing is a big one. Pre-bolus timing, for example, let's say you give 5 minutes normally for your lunch and it works, but a few days on the trot, which we'll get into soon, a little bit of a winky wink, a little bit of a touch on there, but right, so let's say pre-bolus timing, 5 minutes you normally do on your lunch, and it worked, but now it's stopped working. Maybe it's time to sort of retest that pre-bolus and have a look at that 5 minutes that obviously doesn't seem to be working anymore. The next is your pre-workout bolus. Let's say you're going into a strength session and you, like myself and a lot of my clients, we give a little bolus because we get a spike because it's higher intensity or it's lifting weights. Maybe that's something that you need to look at adjusting. So the few things there is basal rate we could adjust, insulin to carb ratio, pre-bolus timing, pre-workout bolus, temporary basal rate if you're on a pump as well, before or after an activity, or if you're ill, that sort of things we can look at. And this is the main point of what I get across on this team. This is the main point. As I mentioned then, you could be one of these who you have a great day and then you have a not so great day with your blood glucose levels. And on that not so great day, you're like, right, that's it. Basal rate's being adjusted, insulin to carbs adjusted. Fucking, I'm doing that pre-bolus time and changing what I'm eating. Whoa, hang on a minute. Because even I get overwhelmed with that. And then you're like, fuck, what worked? I changed so many things. What worked? And I just changed it just because of that one high or that one low that happened that one day, night, evening, whatever it is. So this is a rule that I want you to stick to, that I stick to, and that I get all my clients to stick to, and that's this. Only make any adjustments when you have at least, I'm going to repeat that. Only make any adjustments when you have at least 2 lots or 2 days worth of data, ideally 3. Why? Because something could have caused that spike or caused that low that you wasn't really aware of. You tried to strip it back. You've used this information I've given you this episode, but you're like, I can't really find it. But fuck it, I'm going to adjust anyway. And then the next day, you've done some adjustments and it's completely out of whack. And you're like, wow, maybe I shouldn't have adjusted. No, hold off. You want at least 2 days or 2 lots worth of data, ideally 3. Because if something happens more than once, more than twice, and then it's happening 3 times to your levels, you can have complete confidence in knowing that the chances are it's going to happen again. And that's when you need to step in. You need to see what's causing this, and then you need to make the adjustments. You can't just have something happen once, go straight in and start adjusting everything. That's what a lot of type 1s do. And they're like, nothing works. No 2 days are the fucking same. I'm overwhelmed. I'm frustrated. I'm getting diabetes burnout. Yeah. Well, just hold on a minute. Give it a few more days. Give it a few more days without making any adjustments. Try and even out any variables if possible. So have the same meal, the same type of, try and keep everything the same as the day before. And if that same things happen with your blood glucose levels on the second day, be like, right, okay. Then you can make a decision. No, I'm pretty confident I'm going to have to adjust something. If you're not too sure, do it a third. Get 3 lots of data. Yeah. Do it a third time, get 3 lots of data, because then you can have complete confidence in being like, you know what? This occurrence happened with my blood glucose levels 3 times now, 3 times on the trot. So I've got complete confidence in knowing that I need to adjust X, Y, or Z. Yeah. So don't just adjust something off a whim first time. Or you always want at least 2 lots of data, 2 days of data, ideally 3. Yeah. So team, that kind of brings us to an end for this episode. And I want to go through some of these things again that can impact your blood glucose levels. There's loads. If you Google it, or a lot of type 1s on Instagram put out, I think there's 100 and odd, but these are some of the main ones. Stress, worry, anxiety, frustration, sleep, hydration, hormones, time of the month for your girls, activity levels, food choices, the weather, what you did the day before, and if you're losing weight, losing body fat, or gaining weight. And then remember that little rule, hold off for 2 or 3 days, 2 or 3 lots worth of data you want before jumping in and making any adjustments to your diabetes management routine. Yeah. So team, that is it. If you got value from this episode, please leave me a rating and a review on the podcast app, as it really does help me reach more type 1 diabetics and positively impact our community. Like I said at the start, team, I will be uploading the what I eat in a day as a type 1. video to my YouTube channel very soon. I'm going to edit it down. So go over to YouTube, type in Tap One Tom, and go and subscribe to my channel. Go and hit a few likes on the videos on there. Help the good old algorithm on YouTube. Yeah, team. So anyway, I want to say thank you for lending me your ears, as I always say today. I do hope you got value from that. I hope that clears things up a little bit for you when you're getting stressed, you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling overwhelmed, like no 2 days are the same. Come back to this episode, have a look through those pointers, because guarantee it's going to lie in there somewhere. Team, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Until the next episode, peace. Right, gang, do we have any questions? I'm going to give it 30 seconds for let you guys answer some. For let you guys, I just fucking make up my own words sometimes, me. I'm sure of it. To let you guys answer any questions that you may have. Thanks, guys, watching on YouTube. Appreciate you. Thanks, guys, watching on Facebook. Appreciate you. And thanks, team, watching on Instagram. Appreciate you guys. We're going to have a quick flick through Instagram. Hello, greetings from Italy. Thank you very much. Greetings from the UK. I hope you're good. I'm watching this on my break, so I might have to rewatch later. Apologies. No worries. Greetings, Dave. Hope you're good, dude. Sweet. Right, team. I'm going to get a picture. When I pause like this, it's because when I upload to IGTV, they want you to use a picture. And normally they're all like me with my eyes shut or looking like a bit of a demic. So I'm going to pause for a second so we can get a good picture. That was longer than a second, but hopefully it got it. Right, team, thank you very, very much for jumping on this live. I appreciate you. Until the next live, have a great day. Peace.